Shocking reunion, black janitor saves woman who's secretly the billionaire's long-lost mother. It was a rainy Thursday in downtown Camden, and the streets were slick with the remnants of a storm that had swept through the night before. Thunder cracked like an angry whip, but no one expected the real drama to unfold in the lobby of the Maple Towers high-rise. There, beneath the cold fluorescent lights, stood Gabriel, a janitor whose hands were rough from years of hard work. He was taking out the trash when he heard a crash. A woman stumbled through the doors, her high heels now a twisted disaster, and her eyes wide with panic. "Help!" she cried, breathless and desperate, clutching her handbag like it was the last lifeline in a turbulent sea. The room froze, the silent crowd peering over shoulders, their expressions a mix of shock and intrigue. Gabriel's heart raced. Something about her was undeniably captivating. Was it the disheveled hair, slicked down from the rain, or the tear streaks on her cheeks, making her striking features all the more haunting? Then came the first clue nestled in her handbag, barely visible, a glimmer of gold, a locket. The name inscribed on it sent a chill down Gabriel's spine. Isabella, it read. What was a piece of jewelry like that doing in her possession? People began to murmur, glancing at one another with disbelief. It was as if the air in the room thickened with unspoken secrets. Gabriel felt the temperature drop as if the walls were closing in. A man in a tailored suit stepped forward, his aura shrouded in authority. "You need to leave," he growled, eyes narrowed. But Gabriel couldn't look away from the woman. She was trembling, legs unsteady as she searched for support. His instincts kicked and he stepped closer, reaching out a hand, not caring about the judgment creeping in from the bystanders. Tension poured from everyone in that lobby like a sudden rainstorm. "Wait, I can't leave," she pleaded, desperation etched across every anguished line of her face. Why was she here? Who was she running from? The urgency in the air was palpable as Gabriel, heart pounding, took a deep breath. "You're not alone," he told her, the words feeling foreign yet resolute. That moment hung in the air, saturated with uncertainty. Something deep inside told him this wasn't just happening by chance. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." He could feel eyes on him as he moved closer, the hallway buzzing with speculation. A sudden crash interrupted the murmurs. A heavy door slammed open, revealing a figure that made Gabriel's insides twist. It was a man, tall and commanding with a scowl that could freeze fire. "Isabella!" he shouted, voice echoing against the walls, drawing everyone's attention like a magnet. Gabriel's world turned hazy as reality warped around him. Why was this man so invested in her? Was there more linking them than just her name? The atmosphere felt heavy, thick with complications he couldn't yet grasp. Gabriel's gut tightened with an instinct that something monumental was unfolding right before him. He couldn't help but wonder if saving her could unravel answers to questions he never knew he had. And in that moment, as silence enveloped the chatter, hearts synchronized, Gabriel found himself standing at the crossroads of fate. What secrets were tangled up in her locket? What history lay between Isabella and the man who now stood ready to claim her? The next moments would determine everything. The man's presence loomed over them like a storm cloud, his features sharp and unyielding. He paused mid-step, eyes locked on Isabella, who seemed to shrink before his gaze. The whispers in the lobby intensified, morphing into a cacophony of speculation. Gabriel felt the weight of their stares, the tension wrapping around him like a shroud. "Isabella, it's time to come home," he said, his voice low but menacing, hinting at dark undertones. Gabriel's heart raced. Was she really his to take? It seemed preposterous, but that name Isabella echoed in the air, resonating with unfinished tales and lost legacies. Isabella shook her head, panic flooding her features. No. I can't go with you. Her voice quivered, sending a shockwave through Gabriel's chest. Adding to the chaos, the suited man took another step forward, but this time, Gabriel found himself reacting without thinking. He positioned himself between Isabella and her pursuer, realizing he couldn't allow her to walk away just yet. Who the hell are you? Gabriel felt his throat tighten as he challenged the imposing figure. The lobby fell silent. Even the air felt heavy, as if the universe was collectively holding its breath. This was a moment alive with unspoken possibilities, the man scoffed, a smirk transforming his face into something cold and untrustworthy. I'm the one who can help her. You're just a janitor. The words dripped with disdain. The bystanders' opinions ranged from shock to incredulous disbelief, yet Gabriel felt unyielding resolve swell inside him. From the corner of his eye, he caught Isabella's gaze. Her expression was a mix of gratitude and fear, as if he'd become both her shield and a reckless wildcard in the game unfolding around them. Help. Gabriel spit the word back at the man. The only thing you'll help her do is disappear again. Suspicion flashed through him. He sensed dark secrets tied to this stranger and an anger deeper than what he knew. He wouldn't let that happen. Not like this. What do you know about her? The question slipped through Gabriel's lips before he could lock it down, anger punctuating his tone. The man's face twisted, as if Gabriel had unpeeled a layer of something ugly and personal. Isabella took a shaky breath, her voice trembling. I've been hiding from my past. The confession tore through the silence, unraveling threads of intrigue that bound them all together. Gabriel could feel the bumps rising on his skin. Hiding? Why was she hiding? Quick, frantic glances erupted among the crowd. Who was this woman? Was she really a runaway from a wealthy background, or was something far more sinister lurking just beyond her words? The man stepped closer, his body tense with unspoken fury. You think you can protect her? He let out a bark of laughter, sharp and cruel. This isn't a fairy tale. Reach for her hand, and you'll wish you hadn't. Touch her, and you'll regret it. Gabriel shot back, fueled by adrenaline. His hands clenched into fists, ready for a fight. But a different kind of fight stirred within him. He sensed urgency. Every word mattered in this standoff. Suddenly, Isabella broke through the mounting tension, her voice rising with newfound strength. I will not be your pawn anymore. The tide shifted, drawing the attention of everyone in the lobby, and for the first time, whoever this man was turned to her with uncertainty. Was she finally ready to take her stand? Or was this just the beginning of her desperate play? Before anyone could react, Isabella turned to Gabriel, her eyes shining with unspoken hope. Help me, she pleaded. Not just to escape, but to find out who I really am. And just like that, the stakes skyrocketed. Who was Isabella truly? What dangers lay ahead for them both? Gabriel's mind raced, caught in a whirlwind of emotion, energy crackling in the air between them, but as the man stepped back slightly, wary and calculating, the walls of the lobby creaked with secrets waiting to come to light. The elevator dinged, slicing through the tension, but it opened to reveal figures draped in shadows. Gabriel felt unease creeping in. Again as the doors parted, what had they walked into? And what more awaited them just outside the glow of the lobby lights? The weight of the future settled on Gabriel's shoulders, pushing him forward as they stood on the brink of an unforeseen unfolding story. The doors of the elevator slid open to reveal three shadowy figures, their faces obscured but their intent emanating like a palpable heat. Gabriel's heart thudded painfully in his chest. Isabella took a half step back, her hand reaching instinctively for Gabriel's arm, anchoring herself against the impending storm. Get back, one of the figures growled, stepping into the light. It was a woman, her long hair cascading over a stark white blazer, each gesture exuding authority. She glanced at Gabriel, then at Isabella, her brow furrowed with a mix of disdain and recognition. Isabella, we've searched everywhere for you. Gabriel's instinct screamed at him. Who were these people? The lobby buzzed with muted conversations that felt like knives in his back. You don't get to take her. Not now, he snapped, steel in his voice. The woman laughed, a sound devoid of warmth. Oh, sweetheart, you have no idea what you're standing against. Her gaze flicked between him and Isabella, assessing, calculating. Isabella doesn't belong in a place like this. You're just prolonging the inevitable. Let me handle this, Isabella said, her voice firm, as she stepped forward, out from behind Gabriel's protective stance. I'm not going anywhere with you. Gabriel's chest tightened at her resolve. What had this woman been through? Before anyone could respond, the second figure, a tall man in a fitted suit, stepped forward. You don't understand the danger you're in, Isabella. Your father, don't you dare mention him. Isabella shot back, her voice straining. He's the reason I ran. He wants to control my life, and I refuse to let that happen. There was a fire within her that ignited a fierce admiration in Gabriel. The first woman's smile faded, replaced by a scowl. You think this is all about you making choices, don't you? Your father won't stop until he finds you. You have no idea what lengths he'll go to. Gabriel felt the room tilt. What lengths? He demanded, stepping even closer to Isabella, ready to defend her against whatever nightmare lurked in her past. More than you can imagine, the man said ominously, his eyes narrowing, focusing only on Isabella. He's enforcers out looking to bring you back. You're a key piece of something much larger than you can comprehend. Gabriel swallowed hard, glancing at Isabella, who was trembling slightly, a flicker of doubt crossing her features. Only moments ago, she had shown strength, but the weight of the past was creeping in. Isabella, don't listen to them. He urged, clenching his fists. This isn't over. We can find a way out of this. The suited man smirked at Gabriel's fervor. You think you can save her? This isn't a movie. There are no heroes here. Suddenly, the man's phone buzzed sharply, cutting through the tension. He paused, glancing at the screen, and then back at Isabella. Your father is already mobilizing. He will stop at nothing. A cold dread washed over Gabriel. The room felt charged, the air thickening with an impending sense of doom. He had thought he was diving into something deep, but now he was in the depths of a dirty ocean, where every choice echoed with fear. Isabella, we can find out who you are, who you've always wanted to be. But we need to go. Now, he said, desperation leaking into his voice, but just as they turned, ready to bolt, the doors of the lobby swung wide open, and a mysterious shadow fell upon them. A figure stepped forward, wrapped in darkness, sparks of recognition igniting within Gabriel as his pulse raced. What secrets had they just unlocked, and who stood behind that door? The night was only getting started, and with dangers lurking closer than ever, their fight was just beginning. The figure that emerged from the shadows was a man, tall and imposing, dressed in a leather jacket that looked as if it had seen better days. His face was heavy-set, bearing scars that told stories of battles fought and lost. Gabriel tensed, scanning his frame, trying to identify the threat within that looming silhouette. Looks like the reunion is about to get interesting, the man drawled, his voice low and gravelly, sending a shiver down Gabriel's spine. Isabella instinctively moved closer to him, gripping his arm tightly. Who are you? Gabriel demanded, his tone sharper than a knife's edge. The man stepped forward, revealing a hardened gaze focused on Isabella. I'm here for her, he said, and in that moment, Gabriel felt the air thicken with an unspoken tension. She doesn't know you, the woman in the white blazer spat. You need to leave. Not a chance, the man retorted, his eyes flickering with an intensity that dared her to challenge him. You think you're the only ones after her? She's a target, and I'm the only one who can protect her. The significance of his words hit Gabriel like a punch to the gut. Target? Protect? Suddenly, the stakes were skyrocketing. Isabella's face twisted in confusion, her gaze darting between the two parties, and Gabriel felt a surge of dread flooding his chest. He took a step forward, positioning himself between the man and Isabella. "She doesn't need your protection," he shot back, the man's expression hardened. "Then she can choose. It'll be her life or her father's control. Which one does she want?" Silence descended upon them, fractured only by the murmurs of the gathering crowd in the lobby. Gabriel could sense the very air vibrating, each breath feeling heavier than the last. The woman in the blazer clenched her fists, determined, readying herself for a verbal battle. "You can't just barge in here and act like you know what's best for her," she growled, taking a stand. Gabriel turned his head slightly, locking eyes with Isabella. Her features were pale, a mix of shock and fear painting her expression. "You don't have to decide anything right now," he said softly, hoping to offer some semblance of comfort in this chaotic moment. "Just stay close to me." The man chuckled darkly. "You don't get it. This isn't a game. They'll come for her." And when they do, his voice trailed off ominously, leaving an echo of doom hanging in the air. Before Gabriel could respond, the suited man reached into his coat pocket, pulling out a sleek, black device. "This is bigger than any of you," he warned. "You need to understand, the people after Isabella are ruthless." The woman stepped forward, exuding confidence. "We're here to help you, Isabella. Trust us." Gabriel felt a conflicting wave of panic wash over him. Could he trust them? His mind raced, and time felt frozen. He knew the danger wasn't just looming, it was breathing down their necks. Isabella opened her mouth to speak, but before she could form a word, a siren's wail pierced through the chaos, echoing loudly from outside. It was closing in. The crowd in the lobby began to shift uneasily, confusion swinging like a pendulum. "What now?" Gabriel whispered, swallowing hard. The man in the leather jacket glanced toward the doors, his jaw tightening. "We don't have time. They're coming, we need to move, now." With urgency tugging at them, the world around them began to swirl, and Gabriel's heart raced as he gripped Isabella's hand tightly. They had a choice to make. But what if the truth about her past changed everything? A truth that could shatter the fragile string holding them together. As they prepared to flee, Gabriel felt the weight of uncertainty tugging at his heart. He had made a vow to protect her, but at what cost? A moment's hesitation could alter their fate forever. Gabriel felt the chaos whirl around him, a storm of confusion and fear. With every second that passed, the sound of the siren grew louder, echoing in the crowded lobby. Isabella's grip on his hand tightened, her trembling fingers cutting through the haze of his thoughts. He could feel her heart beating like a wild drum, matching the frantic rhythm of his own. "Where do we go?" he asked, urgency spilling from his voice. The man in the leather jacket turned, scanning the room, looking for an exit. The woman in the blazer seemed to be at odds, glancing between the pair and the increasing crowd of onlookers. "There's a fire exit at the back," she shouted over the building noise, pointing toward a door tucked away behind a row of potted plants. "If we hurry, we can make it." Without waiting for a second thought, Gabriel nodded. "Follow me," he urged Isabella, pulling her along. The weight of the moment pressed down on him, every instinct screaming to move before it was too late. As they ran, Gabriel cast a glance back at the man, the mysterious protector who seemed to know more than he was letting on. "You coming?" Gabriel shouted, a bitter edge to his tone. They needed him, whether they wanted to believe it or not. "Just keep moving." The man barked, voice steady, though tension rippled through him. He'd become the anchor amid surging waves, drawing them closer with every step. They reached the exit, pushing through the heavy door into the dimly lit hallway. The sound of the lobby was reduced to a low hum, but panic still gnawed at Gabriel's gut. He could feel that something terrible was coming, like a dark shadow looming over them. "Where now?" Isabella panted, glancing back over her shoulder as if expecting to see danger spilling through the door behind them. Her face was ashen, but determination shone in her eyes. "Down the hall, we can get to the stairs and head to the parking garage," the man instructed, leading the way. Gabriel kept Isabella close, heart racing. They were not out of the woods yet, every creak of the building felt like a trap closing around them, every distant shout a reminder of the urgency clawing at his mind. "They're after you," Gabriel whispered to Isabella, urgency palpable in his voice. "I need you to tell me everything you know." She nodded, eyes wide, breath coming faster as they reached the stairwell. She gasped, her gaze flicking back as the door swung open. A moment of silence. Had they already found them? The footsteps thundered down the hall, and the man drew a breath, his face steely. "Run! Don't stop! I'll hold them off." "No!" Gabriel protested, panic flooding his system. "You can't." "We need." Before he could finish, the man lunged forward, standing in the doorway as shadows spilled in on either side. "Go! Now!" he barked, his voice a commanding force. Gabriel hesitated, fear constricting his chest. The ambiguity of the man's loyalty tugged at him, but there was no time for second-guessing. He shoved Isabella forward, urging her down the stairwell. "Don't look back. Just keep going." In his gut, a terrible worry twisted deeper as he stole a glance back, the figure of the man stepping into the fray, ready to fend off whatever threat lurked just beyond. It hit Gabriel then that they were racing against something far greater than he'd imagined. They reached the bottom of the stairs, breaths heavy, hearts pounding in their chests. "What now?" Isabella's voice quivered, the trembling tone a reflection of the dread crushing them. "Car's just outside," he answered. Just then, Gabriel felt a surge of determination, the burning question igniting in his mind: who was this man really? What did he know? And what secret was Isabella hiding that could lead them all into so much danger? Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed, a growl building up from the shadows they had barely escaped. Fear gripped them, pulling tighter as the night seemed to close in around them. "Keep going," he urged, as the night grew darker, each step painfully aware of what lurked behind them. But would they be fast enough to outrun their fate? The chill of the concrete floor crept through Gabriel's shoes, making his skin prickle as they dashed towards the parking garage. Isabella kept pace beside him, her breath short and swift. They rounded a corner, eyes darting around for any sign of safety, but the growl of footsteps behind them only got louder, like a pack of wolves trailing their prey. "We can't keep this up," she gasped, glancing back as shadows danced in the flickering overhead lights. "We need to hide." Gabriel shook his head, fear amplifying in his chest. "No time. We need to reach the car." He could see the exit door at the end of the long expanse, a sliver of hope that felt like a lifeline, but the moment they burst into the parking area, a wave of dread washed over him. Cars loomed like dark sentinels, but there was nowhere to hide. "Which one?" Isabella shouted, panic creeping into her voice. "I thought it was right here." Gabriel screeched, scanning the sea of vehicles, heart racing as the ominous sound of footsteps grew fiercest, then the unmistakable sound of metal clanking rang out as a figure emerged from the shadows, a tall man cloaked in black, eyes glinting under the pale garage lights. "There you are," he sneered, and in that moment, Gabriel's blood ran cold. "Get back," he yelled, shoving Isabella behind him as adrenaline surged through him. The next moment, the man lunged, fists swinging toward Gabriel, who barely dodged the blow. "Run!" he shouted again, but Isabella was frozen. Something in the man's voice drew her in, an unshakable connection. "Wait! Please!" she cried, stepping forward just as Gabriel grabbed her arm with panic-stricken determination. He pulled her back, wanting to shield her from whatever darkness this man carried, but the stranger smirked, a sinister glint in his eye. "You don't even know who you're dealing with. Let her go, kid. This doesn't have to end badly." Gabriel's mind raced. He needed answers. "Who are you?" With a brutal laugh, the man stepped into the light, his features becoming clearer. Let us just say I'm here for family business, he snarled, his gaze not leaving Isabella. Gabriel's heart pounded in his chest. There was something chilling about that statement. What do you want with her? The man's jaw tightened, a predatory gleam shimmering in his eyes as he leaned closer. She doesn't know, does she? Isabella, dear, you're more than just the typical girl in distress. Confusion washed over Isabella's face. What are you talking about? Gabriel stiffened, fear twisting into rage. You stay away from her. Ah, but I can't, the man sneered, dark satisfaction spreading across his lips. She's worth more than you can imagine. Isabella's expression shifted from confusion to apprehension. Worth more? What do you mean? The man took a step closer, his voice low and lurking. That's a family secret, love. It's time you learn the truth about who you really are. Gabriel felt the ground shift beneath him, disorientation swirling in his mind. What truth? What secret could possibly connect Isabella to something so dangerous? As he pushed to protect her, an unmarked figure skidded into the garage, gunfire reverberating off the walls. Get down! Gabriel shouted, instinctively pulling Isabella toward the nearest car. Chaos erupted around them as the stranger ducked back into the shadows, but now another danger had entered the fray. They were caught in the crossfire, with the flickering lights casting eerie shadows on the chaos unfolding. Why was he after you? Gabriel demanded, voice steady despite the whirring tension. But Isabella's eyes held terror and confusion, locking onto his with desperation. I don't know. I need to understand. As bullets screamed past them, Gabriel felt desperation seep into his bones. Would they uncover the truth before it was too late? They needed to move again, but the weight of her secrets hung between them like a chasm. What lay hidden beneath the surface could change everything. Fingers trembling, Isabella peered into the depths of the chaos. Gabriel, please help me. What if I'm not who I think I am? Would they find the answers to their questions, or would they be consumed by the darkness closing in around them? Gunshots echoed mercilessly, a drumbeat of chaos that pushed Gabriel and Isabella into instinctive motion. He pulled her along, her small frame nearly slipping from his grasp as they ducked behind the nearest car. The metallic scent of oil and rubber filled the air, mingling ominously with the smoke from the gunfire. Stay down, he urged, his heart pounding so hard he could feel it in his throat. They pressed against the cool metal of the car, hidden from their unknown assailant. The chaos around them felt surreal, time slowed as adrenaline thrummed in his ears. He risked a glance around the vehicle, scanning for the source of the shots, ready for anything. Isabella was trembling next to him, her eyes wide and glossy with fear. What is happening? She whispered, voice almost lost beneath the racket. I don't know, Gabriel admitted, letting a sense of urgency fill the space between them. But it's not over yet. Suddenly, a figure scrambled into view, darting between two cars. The silhouette was blurred in the dim light, but the stance was familiar. It was the man in black. He was moving quickly, glancing wildly around, trying to evade the gunfire. Gabriel's instincts flared. We can't stay here. He stood up, peering again at the scene unfolding. The shooter, whoever they were, seemed determined. The air was thick with tension, bullets ricocheting off concrete, each sound a reminder of just how precarious their situation was. Wait. Isabella's voice sliced through his thoughts. I think he's after me. What? How can you know? He exclaimed, panic wash over him. I don't know, Gabriel. But something about him, something about me. It's too much to explain. Frustration flared, but Gabriel swallowed it back. They needed a plan, not a breakdown. We have to move. Now, he said, clutching her hand tightly. And at that moment, as the gunshots continued to ring out in violent bursts, a surge of determination washed over him. They dashed out from the shelter of the car, straight toward an elevator marked at the further end of the garage. The glowing button flickered like a distant star, promising safety. As they sprinted, a sharp whistle cut through the din. Isabella turned, suddenly drawing back. "Gabriel, wait!" But the tall man was barreling towards them, emerging from shadow to light, a look of determination etched across his features. "Isabella!" His voice rumbled through the chaos, and panic shot through Gabriel. "Get away from her!" Gabriel shouted, angling his body in front of Isabella. "Stop! I'm not here to hurt you." The man raised his hands, exposing empty palms, eyes darting between them and the unseen danger. Gabriel barely trusted him, his mind racing with potential betrayals. "Then what do you want? Why does she matter to you?" The man's gaze softened, understanding flickering in his eyes. "I'm here to protect her. You both need to trust me." But who was this guy? Rising tension crackled in the air, the threat of chaos felt all around. Isabella's eyes darted between the two men, confusion swirling. "Gabriel, I don't know if we can trust him, but if he knows something maybe he can help." Gabriel's heart raced as he weighed his options, each second heavy with weight. Sweat dripped down his brow, adrenaline igniting every nerve in his body. "All right then," he breathed, forcing himself to sound calm. "What do you know about her?" The man's expression grew grave, shadowed by the flickering overhead lights. "Everything. But for now, we need to get you both out of here. Trust me if you can, or well, I can't guarantee your safety." Gunfire abruptly punctured the air like jagged lightning, piercing through any moment of thought with relentless urgency. Gabriel hesitated, 1,000 questions burning in his mind, but the choice had grown thin. They were slipping into a drastic situation too deep. What the man held could be the difference between survival or downfall. "Fine," he rasped, taking a deep breath, steeling himself. "Let us go." "But if you're lying," the man nodded, resolute. As they bolted toward the emergency exit, the shadows of their past yet to be revealed loomed behind, shrouded in danger and the unknown. With every step they took, the weight of Isabella's lineage pressed heavily on Gabriel, an electric current of secrets and revelations ready to explode. "Whatever's happening, we'll face it together," he whispered, squeezing her hand with conviction. The echoes of fear rang behind them, but pushing forward felt impossibly daunting. What awaited them outside crossed boundaries they had yet to explore. What family secrets lingered in the daylight? Would trust be enough to shield them from the truth waiting just around the corner? Panic surged as Gabriel and Isabella dashed toward the emergency exit, the piercing gunfire still ringing in their ears. The man who claimed to protect them raced alongside, cast in shadows yet moving with a sense of urgency that felt almost infectious. Each corner they turned seemed to tighten the grip of despair around them, making Gabriel's chest constrict with fear. They reached a door marked with a flickering exit sign that felt more like a beacon than an escape. Gabriel yanked it open, and they were met with the humid air outside. The chaos seemed to swirl in an ominous funnel around them. Sirens blared somewhere in the distance, a cacophony that only added to the tension. "Where do we go?" Gabriel half shouted, glancing back as if he expected the shooter to emerge from the shadows. "Follow me," the man in black yelled. He turned sharply down an alley, pulling them with him as they plunged into the darkness that the bright city lights barely reached. Isabella stumbled, fear flashing across her face. "Why does he want me?" she demanded, urgency clear in her trembling voice. "What do I have that's so important?" Gabriel's instincts urged him to shield her, but he couldn't deny the rising curiosity. "You're the one with the answers. Just trust me." The man insisted, looking over his shoulder. They ran silently for several moments, but the tension was suffocating. The man skidded around a corner, finally coming to a stop in a dimly lit courtyard, its walls splashed with graffiti and littered with forgotten debris. He turned, breathing heavily. "We should be safe here, for now," he said. Gabriel kept his body tense, hyper-aware of the slightest sound. "Who are you? What do you know about Isabella?" The man's brow furrowed. "My name is Marcus. I've been sent to protect her. She's in great danger, and it's tied to who she is. He hesitated, eyeing Isabella with a mix of hesitance and urgency. The truth, it could change everything. Isabella's eyes widened. What truth? Just tell me. Isabella, you have to understand, your family, it's more complicated than you think. You're not just any innocent bystander here. There are people who will hunt you down for what you represent. He turned to Gabriel. This is bigger than you both. Bigger? What are you talking about? Gabriel asked, heart racing as he sensed a hidden weight in Marcus's words. Their essay legacy, Marcus explained, voice lowering as though someone might be listening. Your parents, the power they wielded is still dangerous, and they left clues about it. Clues that could save you or doom you. Isabella's breath quickened, confusion knitting her brow. What do you mean? My parents' a loud crash echoed from the mouth of the alley, followed by the unmistakable pounding of feet. Gabriel's heart dropped. We have to go. Now. Wait. Isabella's voice trembled, grasping Marcus's arm. What legacy? What am I supposed to do? I can't explain everything right now, but you must trust me. Trust us, Marcus replied urgently. As he pulled them both onward, they darted down another narrow street, but Gabriel's mind was racing, tangled in confusion and burgeoning dread. He could sense the stakes rising with each step, the shadow of danger ever present. What were they running toward? What awaited them in this web of secrets and revelations? The sounds of pursuit grew louder, too close for comfort. They needed answers, but first, they needed to survive this chase. In the distance, sirens wailed like lost spirits. Gabriel felt a chill race down his spine. What truth lurked behind Isabella, just out of reach, ready to shatter everything they knew? What have you done, Isabella? He thought in a panic as they turned the corner, desperation tightening its grip around them. There was no going back now. All that mattered was moving forward, but the path ahead was shrouded in smoke and mirrors. What awaited them in the depths of the night? With every frantic step, the world felt like it was crumbling around them. The pounding footsteps grew louder, echoing in Gabriel's ears like a war drum, urging him to run faster. Marcus steered them to the side, taking a quick glance over his shoulder before vaulting into a narrow alley split by a rusty fence. Keep moving. He yelled, his voice taut with urgency. Isabella's panicked breaths were short, almost desperate. What if they find us? There was fear laced in her words, a tremor that rattled them both. They won't. Not if we stay quiet, Marcus snapped, but there was a crack in his facade. He was trying to convince himself as much as the others. They ducked behind a dumpster, the stench of decay hitting them like a punch to the gut. The sound of hurried footsteps skittered just outside their hideout, and Gabriel's heart raced like a wild animal in a trap. He felt the clammy veneer of terror coat his skin. Just breathe, he whispered, though his own breath was ragged. He glanced up at Marcus, catching a flicker of determination in his eyes. What did you mean, legacy? What kind of danger are we in? Their essay group, Marcus breathed, leaning closer until Gabriel could feel the heat of his urgency. They're after Isabella because of something her parents hid, a powerful secret that could shift the balance of everything. And what's that secret? Gabriel pressed, desperate for clarity amid chaos. Marcus hesitated, eyes narrowing. It's not just her lineage, it's what she is meant to inherit. It's about their legacy of power. He paused, stealing a glance toward the mouth of the alley, which remained quiet, but danger felt tangible in the air. What is she supposed to do with it? The weight of the moment pressed heavily, the night's uncertainty wrapping around them like a suffocating blanket. It's not enough to just have it. She must learn to control it, to understand it, or it could consume her. The gravity of the words hung there, filling the space between them like the thick fog that often rolled in from the sea. Isabella squeezed her eyes shut, a momentary rush of anguish crossing her face. But I'm just me. I don't know anything about any legacy, or power. I just want to live a normal life. You think this is about choices? Marcus snapped back, frustration boiling over. Your life was chosen for you from the moment you were born. Now you're a target. Silence fell heavy, twisting their insides. In that moment, Gabriel felt Isabella's hand tremble beside him. She wouldn't cry, not here, not now, but the strain was evident. This was more than a hunt. It was survival against a tide threatening to sweep them away. What do we do? She whispered, vulnerability in her voice cutting through the tension. Marcus opened his mouth to speak, but just then, the unmistakable sound of distant sirens wailed again, slicing through the stillness. They bounced along the alley walls, growing nearer. We keep moving, Marcus said at last, decisiveness returning to his voice. We have to find shelter and figure out our next move. Gabriel nodded, a knot tightening in his stomach as they prepared to emerge from their hiding place. What's the plan? We'll go to a safe house, Marcus replied, keeping his voice low as he popped his head out to scope the area. The coast looked clear, but he could feel the tension, thick as molasses, gnawing at them. Safe house? Isabella asked, a glimmer of hope sparking in her eyes. Is it far? Not far, Marcus assured, but there was an ominous undertone. But we need to hurry. The clock is ticking, and they're getting closer. As they moved again, fear mingled with determination. For every shadow cast by the flickering streetlights, there was an enemy lurking hungry for secrets, ready to spill blood. Isabella, whatever happens next, don't forget you have the power inside you, Marcus urged, his eyes locking onto hers with a fierce intensity. You must be ready. The three of them stepped out into the open stretch of street, and suddenly, a figure loomed in the distance. Tall and menacing, they stood at the end of the road, an apparition. Cloaked in uncertainty and danger. Go! Marcus hissed, pulling them into a sprint. But even as they raced forward, the oddity lingered in Gabriel's mind. Who was that figure? Did they come with answers or more questions? And would Isabella be ready for what awaited? As the darkness deepened, so did the secrets they carried. The silence of the alley wrapped around them like an unseen cloak, and they pressed forward, bodies tense, hearts hammering in unison. They zigzagged down the twisted streets, with Marcus leading the way. His determination pushed them onward, a flicker of hope lighting the dark abyss surrounding them. Why did you say I have power? Isabella asked again, her voice trembling. Despite their peril, the question hung thick in the air, refusing to be ignored. Gabriel shot a glance at Marcus, half expecting him to dismiss her, but he took a deep breath, the weight of his knowledge heavy on his chest. It's not just your parents' legacy, he said slowly, eyes piercing into Isabella's. It's what they left behind, a force that can bind or break. Your existence isn't just an accident. It's a thread woven into something much larger. Isabella's face flickered with confusion and fear. I didn't ask for any of this. I just want to understand. Her voice cracked, exposing the raw vulnerability she tried to mask. Gabriel felt a pang of empathy, wishing he could take away the burden that had just landed on her. Trust me, Marcus said evenly. You're stronger than you realize. But we need to keep moving. The footsteps behind them faded into the distance, but the threat lingered, palpable as any shadow. They turned once more into a narrow street that smelled of damp earth, lost beneath the overhead street lamps. Gabriel's mind raced, each turn taken only heightening the stakes. Where are we going? Gabriel demanded, his voice laced with urgency. There's a safe house not far from here, a place no one would think to look for Isabella, Marcus replied, conviction in his voice. It's essential we remain unseen at least until we can figure this all out. With each passing moment, the weight of uncertainty settled in. Every choice made felt like a ticking clock, each breath a countdown until something inevitable awaited them. Just as they turned the next corner, a voice called out, laced with malice. There you are. Gabriel's heart dropped. The man from the parking garage stood there, eyes blazing with intent. He was flanked by two others, dark silhouettes that threatened to snatch the flicker of hope away. "Isabella, you don't want to do this," he sneered, advancing toward them. Gabriel's instincts kicked in. "Run!" he shouted, shoving Isabella behind him as he faced the threat head-on. "You'll regret this." Just then, Marcus surged forward, ready to confront the men head-on. Gabriel could feel the pulsating dread knot tightly in his chest as the confrontation escalated. The air grew thicker with danger. "Stop!" Isabella's voice cut through like a knife. Gabriel glanced back, his heart still racing. She wasn't cowering anymore, her stance mirrored Marcus's embers of determination glowing in her gaze. "I'm not going back. I want to know the truth." "Isabella, don't!" Gabriel yelled, panic surging through him. He didn't want her to face this alone. But then he noticed something shift in her, an undeniable strength rising to the surface. The man lunged, but a crack of lightning-fast reflexes saw Marcus intercept him. The two grappled fiercely. Gabriel felt a jolt of adrenaline as he watched, torn between assisting and staying protective over Isabella. She stepped forward, shaking with resolve. "You think you can take me back to a life I've run from? You're mistaken." Her words were like a firework igniting an explosion of clarity in the charged atmosphere. "Enough!" the man bellowed, frustration mingling with menace. "You don't understand what you're up against. Then help me understand." Isabella shot back defiantly, her voice unwavering. The resolve in her eyes silenced the tension. Gabriel's pulse raced. Could this really be the turning point? "Isabella," Marcus started, his voice steady as he broke away from the scuffle for just a moment. "They won't back down easily. Your father has resources we can't comprehend." That hit hard. Gabriel felt a chill sweep through him. The tangled web of her past wasn't just personal, it reached out into a vast network of power that could consume them whole. "Let us find your answers then," Isabella urged, her grip on Gabriel's arm tightening. "Together. Let us not run anymore. Let us fight for the truth." As if responding to her words, the chaos erupted anew, shadows closing in. "You want the truth? Then let us go." The man growled, and they all surged ahead, finding the safe house looming near. They dashed through the door, slamming it shut behind them. Gabriel's mind churned, heart racing, but there was a flicker of urgency that ignited a wild hope. Heartened by the fierce courage radiating from Isabella, mixed with Marcus's guidance. They were standing on the precipice of an answer. The shadows of their past loomed large, but they could face it together. When the dust settled, Gabriel knew that whether they emerged victorious or in defeat, they would do so as partners, as allies, united against the darkness haunting their paths. "Whatever comes next," he said, his gaze locking onto Isabella and Marcus, "we'll confront it all together." In that moment, what had once been a daunting prospect transformed into a fierce determination, their edges bound by the threads of truth and solidarity stitching them into a family of choice, ready to embark on whatever lay ahead. And with that pact sealed, they turned to face the shadows, ready to draw from the strength within. With each heartbeat echoing the promise of courage, they forged onward into the unknown. You need to subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss the next gripping saga. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep these stories coming. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this explosive ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this thrilling conclusion. Your support means everything.